Today I'm going to be making a smoked and shredded ham. This is a recipe I've been seeing all over social media. It's everywhere on Instagram. I've never made it before, and I'm very curious how it's going to turn out. I was a little bit skeptical of trying this recipe at first because a smoked ham is pretty lean on its own. So after you smoke it for a long time, it might be pretty dry. But we're going to try it out and see how it comes out. All the different recipes that I've seen for these smoked and shredded hams were all honestly pretty simple. So let's start by taking this guy out of the packaging. This ham, by the way, is a little bit over 11 pounds. And you can get these at really any grocery store, especially this time of year. These are super popular for the holidays. So let's open this guy up. Now, if you're not aware, or maybe you don't know, all these hams, whether you buy it spiral cut or you buy it whole at the grocery store, these are all pre-cooked. So you can eat it as is, you can eat it cold, you can reheat it, all sorts of different ways. Ooh. Nice and juicy inside. But yeah, here, check this thing out. Like I said, a little bit over 11 pounds. You get that bone in the center. Now this is a whole ham. You can also get these spiral cut, so it's just a little bit easier for serving. But for this recipe, because I'm going to be smoking it for a long time, I figured a whole one's going to work a little bit better to help retain some of that moisture. To prep the ham, all that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it all the way around. This will help the smoke penetrate into the meat a little bit more and just kind of help build on that flavor. We'll flip it over like so. There we go, just like that. I'm gonna cook this ham inside this foil pan. I do have a small wire rack inside to help keep it elevated. So all that I'm gonna do is just put this on the wire rack, and we're gonna add some orange juice to the bottom of the pan. It's gonna act sort of as a water pan, providing additional moisture and steam for this thing to cook. I'm using orange juice. I don't think it really matters what liquid you go with. You can go with apple juice. You can probably just go with regular water. Next, I'm gonna go with a little yellow mustard for the binder before I apply my seasoning. So just cover the ham with mustard. Don't worry, you won't be able to taste this. It's only acting as a binder. Don't be shy with it. Rub it like it owes you money. There you go, just like that. Now, since I'm going with sort of a sweet profile at the end, I'm gonna use my all-purpose seasoning, which is kind of a classic barbecue flavor mix. So salt, pepper, garlic, paprika, and just season the outside of this ham. And just like that. Again, see that mustard helps that seasoning stick to the outside, so when this goes on a smoker, it'll get nice and flavorful. There you go, just pat that in, rotate, and continue seasoning. All right, I am using my Weber Searwood pellet cooker. It's cruising at about 250 degrees. You can also do this in the oven, do it on a charcoal grill. As long as it's indirect heat in between 250 to 275, you should be okay. Using a smoker obviously will help impart that nice smoky flavor, which is why I like using this instead. So it goes right in the center. I'm gonna close this, let this go, and I'm gonna come back once it reaches about 160 or so internal degrees temperature and has that nice beautiful bark on the outside, and then we're gonna start applying our glaze. Ham is on the smoker, so now let's prep our glaze. Now I'm going with a kind of a traditional pulled pork style glaze for my ham. So I'm gonna keep those ingredients pretty simple, starting with some barbecue sauce, using Sweet Baby Ray's, but feel free to use whatever kind of sauce you like. Again, we're going for this kind of sweet, sticky, shiny glaze for our ham, so about a cup or so of barbecue sauce. Next, I've got some brown sugar to give it that nice, rich sweetness. Also about a cup or so. Next, I've got some honey. This is gonna give our glaze that nice shine, and it'll just look super good on that ham. So we're gonna go with about half a cup. 1 full stick of butter to give it that nice, rich flavor, a little extra fattiness. Whoop. And there we go. And finally, some more of my all-purpose seasoning. Anytime that I'm doing sauces at home, and I've mentioned this before, I always like to season my sauce with whatever seasoning I used on the protein, just to kind of help tie everything together. So I'm gonna bring this inside, put it on the stove, over kind of medium to low heat for a couple minutes, let everything combine, get nice and melty, and this will go on our ham towards the very end. All right, ham has been on for a couple hours. Let's take a look. Ooh, wow, look at that. So you can see all these cuts that I made kind of opened up. You can see how really crappy I cut this thing all the way around. It's super uneven, but that's okay. It's just getting all that smoke into it. I'm gonna try to speed this process up a little bit. So I'm gonna cover this ham with foil. Let me grab a sheet here. Okay. So we'll just go over the top. I wasn't really planning on covering this when I first started to cook, but it really only makes sense because it's no different than doing a pulled pork or smoking a pork shoulder. I'll cook it kind of uncovered for a couple hours, then I'm going to wrap it in foil to kind of keep all the moisture and get it tender. So I'm going to treat this ham exactly the same way. All right, my ham is ready for the glaze, and this whole thing took a lot longer than I was expecting. It's been on for almost 8 hours. It got dark outside already, but it is finally ready. So let's take a look, and I'll show you guys what this thing is looking like. So we're going to remove the foil here. Whew. Oh man, that is steamy. Wow, look at that. I mean, that is beautiful, super jiggly. Temp wise, it's sitting at about 190, 195. It is nice and probe tender. So I'm gonna glaze it with our sauce, close it, and cook it for just another 10-15 minutes. Let that sauce set, and our ham will be ready to go. It's so cold that everything is just steaming, but you know, I'm just gonna go for it like this. Oh, look at that. Wow. I mean, that looks pretty freaking amazing. So excited for this video to get like 1,000 views. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, I appreciate every single one of you, man. Big views or small views, it doesn't matter. I mean, that is a really nice looking ham. I mean, you put this out on your holiday dinner table. Let me get the backside here. Let me get this back oiled up here a little bit. I mean, you put this on your dinner table, and that looks freaking amazing. All right, so that's the first coat of the glaze. I'm gonna close this up, keep all that heat in there. I'll come back in about 10 minutes or so, glaze it again, and I think it should be ready to go. Ham is ready. First of all, this thing smells and looks amazing with that glaze caramelized on the outside. Look at this. This fat is just pillowy soft. Temp wise, it's right around 200 degrees internal. Or it was when I pulled it off the grill. It rested for a good hour, so it cooled down a little bit, and it was very probe tender. So you can take your probe and insert it without any resistance. So that tells me that it should be ready to shred. And this took a lot longer than I expected. This was about an 11-hour cook. But yeah, let's just get into it. I'm gonna pull these bones out of here first. Oh yeah, wow, look at that. Look at that, they just come right out. It is still super cold out here, so it's very steamy, but that is cool. Now, I still have it in the pan with all those kind of drippings and juices underneath. Let's just pull a chunk of this beautiful meat. Oh, wow. It has that nice pinkish color. That's from the cured ham, but it is, man, you can see like it's just glistening. I'm not sure how well you can see that in the video, but it is so tender. I don't want to just like shred it to bits, but just keep little nicer chunky pieces, and you get this nice crust on the outside from that sauce. Let's do this one right here. Look at that. Get these beautiful, meaty, tender. It looks great. Again, smells absolutely amazing, but there's only one way to find out. Let me get a nice little piece here. Oh yeah, right here. Get a little bit of that crust, that bark on the outside, that meat. Okay, all right. It's a little different. It's like a mix of pulled pork and that kind of cured smoked ham. I mean, it's exactly what this is. It was a cured ham that I smoked and shredded, finished with that sauce, but yeah, this is really good. Get that saltiness from the ham, that nice, mild, smoky flavor, a little sweet from the sauce. And this is really delicious. I mean, this on a sandwich or just kind of on its own, on top of mac and cheese, you can really kind of eat this any way you'd like. This was almost a 12-pound ham, and it cost $25. So you get a whole lot of meat for not a lot of money. The cooking process is very easy, right? Just kind of score it, season it, throw it on the smoker, just give yourself plenty of time, because I don't know why I thought this was gonna cook a lot quicker than it did, because it was a lot of meat with that bone inside. So just plan, 12 plus hours if you get a big ham like this, and yeah, that is delicious. Wow. Here, let me see. Let me give Jax a little piece. Good boy, try. Yeah, I mean, he'll pretty much eat anything, so that doesn't really tell me anything, but it's good. Definitely make this at home. Try it out. It's delicious.